Hey, what's good? It's Mr. Peace here. And I actually got an email um, from a student. This was back in 2013. But I kind of want to break it up into three parts, three separate videos. One is dealing with best friends, one is dealing with divorce, and the other is dealing with purpose. This video, I wanted to focus on purpose. And part of the letter, always changing names to maintain confidentiality and people's identity, protect that. But comes from someone named Nate. It says, Dear Mr. Peace, lately I've been wondering if it would be a good idea to be a priest or someone like you, someone who is content in life and fulfilled. Any advice on that would be very much appreciated. You don't know how much you do to help others, Mr. Peace. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. May God bless you every moment of your life. Love, Nate. This is back from May 2nd, 2013. And, my first thought when I was reading this, thinking about purpose in our life, I've always said that finding our purpose is God's gift to us, but then starting to fulfill that purpose is our gift back to Him. And, I've always also said that you can never put a price tag on passion. Money is an important thing and has to be part of your motivation for what you do. But if it's your only motivation, you'll never have enough of it to be happy. I remember right out of college, I was working 4 jobs, 90-hour weeks. I put money ahead of everything in my life, all my relationships, God, everything. And I started to become very unfulfilled very fast. And I ended up almost losing some very close people in my life because of that. I was able to kind of make those friendships back, but it's one of those things that money will follow if the passion is there. And yes, you have to pay the bills, and yes, you need to provide for your family, and yada yada yada. But if you put the trust, in the Lord, that He will provide for you, that's been my experience, is that He has abundantly, and I've been very very blessed because of that. The other part that I was thinking about was John Lennon, and how back when he was 5 in kindergarten class, he was asked the question. It was a take-home assignment from the teacher. What do you want to be when you grow up? And he came back the next day and shared with his class when it was his turn and said, I want to be happy. And the teacher's like, I don't know if you really understood the assignment. He said, no, I think I did. I mean, isn't that what all of us want, is to just be happy and to be doing something in our life that we're willing to lose sleep over? Because I know I do sometimes, because I'm that on fire for it. That we're willing to stay up late for, that sometimes we're even willing to die for this cause. And that's really what struck me when I first reread this a couple years after the fact. But what I responded to Nate at the time was more along these lines. And I said, Nate, thanks for reaching out. I said, I can definitely relate to you on a lot of levels in terms of purpose, right? And I basically just said, along with the emptiness and isolation that I went through as a teen, I was the class clown that I had to crack the jokes to, have people accept me or feel accepted, make people laugh. And if I didn't, I was a failure, and, I had to get the good grades and had to make the teams and do all these things that I felt I had to do to fit in, and put on that mask every day, and sometimes be someone that I wasn't. And it gets tiring after a while. It takes a lot of energy to be someone you're not. But I also just told him that on the judgmental side of things, I did whatever was needed to fit in, right? And those feelings growing up, my deepest needs to be fulfilled, that emptiness, that void that I had, is really what fueled my desire to take part in the careers that I'm a part of now, right? And so maybe that's the same for any of you out there that are going through a similar situation, that you have these emotional needs, these physical needs, whatever these needs are, and the way to really nurture those, and the way to offset some of that, is to find a find a career, find a way of life, a true living that is going to foster all that and just, basically reverse all the things that you were feeling growing up. And I just told him, that's really what fueled my desire to be a youth minister, to be a youth speaker, a hip hop artist, a poet, and I wear a lot of hats. And I said, I know my deepest need is to heal hearts. So at the core of not only my emotional needs, but what my mission I feel is on this planet, right? That I look for career paths that are going to really boost that up and make that a top priority. My company being who I want to be, right? I first had to know who I want to be for this planet before I knew what I want to be. And that's important to think about. Who do you want to be for this earth, for your community, for the people around you, and then go and chase that. And I said, especially the hearts of young people, the career paths that I've chosen really nurture that need the best. For where you are at in your life, that may mean following a similar route, or even going toward a commitment of becoming a seminarian. He talked about being a priest, with the end goal of becoming a pastor. I said I'd support you in whatever your calling may be, and can speak extremely highly of both callings, because of the humble yet magnificent fulfillment that comes from each of those, as I can myself can attest to those occupations, being a youth pastor and a speaker. And I also know many pastors who have served as my mentors over the years. But basically, I just said, whatever you decide to do, you definitely still have some time to make up your mind. And I would suggest to continue to pray, to discern about things over the coming months, as well as making it a point to talk to not only people in those fields to understand the type of lifestyle that they live, but to the man upstairs, to God. Because as I've learned, the closer you stay in contact with Him in your faith, the more likely you are to make the choice that will serve you to the max. But many times in your life, you have a decision. And this decision can be between two or three goods, as I like to call them. Either path you take is good. But you'll know in your heart of hearts, as I've always found, that there's usually the one path that's the most rewarding outcome for you, and the one that's really, really burning in your heart. When you feel that, you know where God is calling you, and you can be totally content with that decision. I've always said, flip a coin. I have it right here. But you take a coin, and heads is one path, right? One of the good outcomes, and tails is another. If you have three, then you get a three-headed coin, I guess. But three-faced coin. But you flip it, and as it's going up in the air and rotating, the side that you want it to land on just a little bit more is probably where you're being called. So you don't even have to worry about what side it lands on, but as it's flipping, that side that you want it to land on just a little bit more, that's where you're being tugged, right? And that's where you probably should go. Because that's your gut, that's your soul, that's God, that's your heart calling you towards that path as part of your journey. All that said, and that goes for everybody out there as well, I said I'm always open to chat. I said I'm definitely open to that, and I can try to fill you in the best of my ability for what's worked for me and how I've seen things unfold in my life. I don't have all the answers. I've never claimed to, but I can share some of my experiences, and hopefully some of them will help you. I said, God bless you, buddy, and keep me posted on how things develop. In Christ, Kevin, Mr. Peace. All that said, if you have any questions, need some advice, some support, some wisdom, encouragement, please email me, mrpeace@mrpeace.net. You can comment here on the YouTube video, send me a direct message through YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. My handle there is mrpeace101, or DM me through Instagram, mr_peace_geese. Go to my website, mrpeace.net. Would love to hear from you. Again, I don't always get back to you right away, but I always get back to you. And Nate, thanks for touching our hearts. This is awesome. Got a couple more videos coming out of his original email to me, so please stay tuned for that. And keep going after your dreams, man. Never let anybody stand in the way, right? There's a lot of opinions out there, but not all of them matter. Only yours does. So follow that true purpose, have the heart, keep the passion alive. Peace.